So Manchester United are set to hold internal transfer meetings to decide what happens between now and the end of the January transfer window. But has anything actually changed? United have now joined the race for Juventus defender Pierre Kalulu. Fresh talk around an offer for Ruben Neves that we're going to run through. All that, plus the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Welcome to Man United Review. Smash that like button. Let's get straight into it. So firstly, give us your thoughts and feelings. How are you today after that result and performance over the weekend? I'm still on cloud nine, to be fair. I thought it was an absolutely outstanding display from start to finish. We got so much that we've been missing for so long, and I'm still, I'm going to milk this feeling as long as physically possible. Yes, we've got obviously a big game at the weekend. We need to continue. I'm worried already around the Arsenal game. Was it a one-off? So many question marks around the game. Don't want to get too giddy regarding it, but I'm milking this feeling, that's for sure, because it's been absolutely garbage for so long that I'm over the moon with the performance and the result as well. Like, that could have, we had the ball in the back of the net 5 times against City, hit the post and hit the crossbar, and I'm still yet to be convinced that Cunha, the Mount goal with Cunha, is offside. I've not seen any images. The only still footage that I have seen, I think he's onside. I don't know why that was pulled back the way that it was, but until we see the evidence, I still think that one was onside. But there were so many things that went well when you think about it, right? So clean sheet for the second time this season in Michael Carrick's first game, because the players were organised, they were comfortable, they were battling, didn't make any stupid mistakes as well. So a clean sheet. There were goals galore, as I mentioned. We had the ball in the back of the net 5 times, some close offside decisions. Again, I'm yet to be convinced that the Mount one is offside, but hit the post, hit the bar, had Donnarumma made a few good saves as well. There was effort, teamwork, aggression. It was a 90-minute performance as well. Like, how many times have we seen us play really well? I was worried at half-time that we played so well in that first half that, are we going to drop off or see what United do in the second half of games, which is a complete night and day performance to the first? But oh no, came out, carried on doing exactly the same things. It was a full 90-minute performance as well. There was an opportunity to get into Champions League positions that was taken for the first time in what feels like months as well. And especially that's important because other teams this weekend dropped points around us. So we took advantage of that in what I think was a free hit, because realistically, being honest, who expected that? The writing was almost on the wall that we would lose to City, lose to Arsenal. So it's a free hit really for Michael Carrick and the team, and we're already 3 points up from probably what was being expected beforehand. So that was good that we took advantage of that and got the 3 points. What was also interesting for me is we went a goal up and continued doing what we were doing to get in that position in the first place. Because how many times recently we've gone a goal up, conceded straight away, and then the game totally flips on its head, and then the players, sink within themselves. But we didn't see that. Went 1-0 up, and what did we do? Let's go for 2. Went 2-0 up. What were we doing? Let's go for 3. And they just continued to do what they were doing, which, was super impressive as well. And the players actually looked like they were enjoying themselves, which, and that's really all you could ask from Michael Carrick in his first game. I think he said in the there's been a report coming out from the Mail where in the dressing room after the game, he told the players that this is the new normal, and they have to perform. That's the minimum that we would expect to do every week, and that's going to be the big test going forward. Was it just a one-off? Was it a flash in the pan? Was it new manager bounce? Or, is Michael Carrick just drilled something into the players, and are we about to see maybe the start of us getting back to basics and becoming the Man United of old? Because that's what I saw at the weekend, like a proper old school United performance where we were just flooding forward in numbers, being aggressive, good on the ball at times as well. Yes, City had more possession, but they literally did nothing with that possession. You can control a game without having the ball, and we totally controlled that game and totally dominated that game as well. So I am still on cloud 9. I'm milking it. I'm going to milk it for as long as possible. We might lose to Arsenal at the weekend, and we'll be bought, and I'll become crashing back down to earth. But I genuinely don't care, because I've been miserable. It's been miserable watching United for so long, going back even before Amrim. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to enjoy it for as long as physically possible, until maybe Friday, when I start thinking about the Arsenal game, and then the nerves will kick in and you start worrying about what we're going to do with that game. But for now, I'm enjoying it. So get involved in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and how you're feeling after the weekend as well. But the one thing I'm still insistent on is I still think we need players this month. I think it would be, neglect to not try and strengthen in this January transfer window. So let's go through all the latest there. So firstly, this is quotes from Fabrizio Romano regarding a transfer meeting. So he said, I wanted to mention something on Manchester United because in the next hours, I would say at the very beginning of this week, there will be an internal meeting at Manchester United involving also the ideas of Michael Carrick. Goes on to say Michael Carrick did really well in the derby. But at the same time, Carrick will be involved in the conversation with Man United to decide on several situations, what they want to do in the market from now to the end of the January transfer window. If they want to go and try and get a player for an opportunity, maybe in midfield, maybe in other positions, maybe a striker. That's interesting. So they need to assess and decide with Michael Carrick or continue with the current squad and invest in the summer. So Fabrizio Romano is suggesting that United are set for a transfer meeting today, including Michael Carrick, because obviously, while I think the way United are doing their transfers now, it is more club-led. So it's going to be off the recommendations of the data team. Christopher Vival, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, those sort of characters deciding on which player we do actually want to definitively go for. But Michael Carrick will have an input on that. He won't be necessarily, they won't sign a player for Michael Carrick though, but Carrick's got to give the, whether he would want to play him or manage him or not, because otherwise it's pointless buying a player or getting a player in on loan. Because if Carrick's like, yeah, I won't use him, he doesn't fit what I want to do, then it's 0 points. So Carrick will have an input, but they will not sign players just solely for Michael Carrick. They'll only do it as part of the club's long-term vision, or maybe as part of the, as a stopgap to help us out to hopefully, maintain, because we're in Champions League position now, to maintain that and hopefully get you at least European football next season, because that's the minimum aim, isn't it? I think that we're expecting, and by God, we need it, because it is boring as hell not watching United play midweek games, isn't it? It's absolute. This season's absolutely dragged on. So we'll see what comes of that meeting. Obviously, we had reports the other day about Ben Jacobs, saying about that we've held talks with a secret midfielder, somebody that's playing in Europe, that has played in the Premier League in the past. Still no names yet to be leaked at the time of recording this video. Few more names I'm going to throw out there as potential options as well. Pierre Højbjerg is one that's been doing the rounds a little bit on social media. This is just like fan theories. I'm wondering if it's Wilfred Ndidi though. That would be my sort of guess, because Ben Jacobs has linked us multiple times with interest in Wilfred Ndidi. If you remember, or if you're a subscriber or watched any previous videos and stuff, Wilfred Ndidi's name has come up specifically from Ben Jacobs a few times, and I'm wondering if it's Ndidi. He went to Besiktas in the summer. I'm wondering whether we're looking to maybe do a short-term loan for someone like Ndidi to come back. Like I said, Højbjerg's the other name. Some of you were mentioning Angel Gomes the other day. The ones about Loftus-Cheek. Like there's countless of players that it potentially could be. But until it actually breaks, we're all guessing. I'm sure you're going to throw some more names at me in the comments as well regarding that. So we'll have to wait and see whether anything materializes from that. But interesting that Romano's saying that they are going to sit and hold transfer talks. Maybe we could get some updates on some exits as well, because remember, we've had I think Mainoo's going to stay now. I think that's clear that Carrick, is going to be playing Kobbie Mainoo. I think that he's going to be staying and no longer seeking an exit, because I do think that, going off the reports and what's been said and so on and so forth, that Michael Carrick really likes Kobbie Mainoo. So I can imagine him playing more games, which is what he wants to do, to try and break into the England squad between now and the end of the season. So I can't imagine anything. Zirkzee would be the only potential exit still. On that though, Simon Stone from the BBC did a report around January, which we'll go through here. So what Simon Stone was saying is, United fans have enjoyed an excellent weekend after Saturday's win at Old Trafford, blah, blah, blah. There's been more speculation about potential changes to the squad, with one report suggesting a deal for former Wolves skipper Ruben Neves is close. I'm going to go through that in a second. United sources have repeatedly played down the chances of signings this month unless they were part of the long-term plan, as was the case with Antoine Semenyo, who turned down a move to Old Trafford and played this Saturday's game for Manchester City. And judging by the comments of Roma director of football Federica Massara yesterday, nothing has changed. And and this is direct quotes from Roman Sporting Director saying that Manchester United said no clearly a couple of weeks ago and have not changed their mind. So this is when asked around the chances of them signing Joshua Zirkzee, and they've said United have not changed their mind as of now. Obviously, he's picked up a knock by all accounts. Joshua Zirkzee might be out for a couple of weeks. Apparently, it's a calf injury. Whether that rules him out of an exit, I'm not entirely sure. So we're still one to keep an eye on. But these are the sort of things they're going to discuss in the meeting, because I think Xerxes, game, like if you're playing Dorgu's one of the wing options now. Then you've got Mount that can play in the 10. You've got obviously Bruno that's going to play there. Cunha seems to be playing a lot more centrally. So whether as the striker or as the 10, Ahmad and Bumo can play on the right. Like, where does Joshua Zirkzee fit, even as a rotation option within this team? Unless there's like injury crisis, you can't see him getting very many minutes. I don't anyway. Not with the formation that we're going for now in this sort of 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 or 3-2-5. The tacticals will come out and let us know the formations that we're playing in and out of possession and stuff. But his game time's going to be very limited. So they're the sort of things I suspect will be discussed in the meetings. And obviously, if we do something with Xerxes, does that free up some squad space to maybe bring in the secret midfielder on loan? Who knows? But Simon Stone effectively saying as well that they're playing down the chances of bringing in. So I'm still a little bit. I'm hopeful that we're going to get something done, but it is more hope than anything at the moment. But we'll see what comes out over the next few days, because obviously we are approaching the end of the January transfer window. It was always believed that United would be, if we were going to be busy at all, it would be towards the end of the January transfer window. So maybe we'll see a little bit more now that AFCON's finished. Obviously, Mazraoui, commiserations to him losing to Senegal last night. Congratulations to Senegal for winning the AFCON as well. But yeah, so we'll wait and see. I think it's going to be hopefully an interesting couple of days anyway when it comes to transfers. Maybe we'll get a few more leaks. Maybe we'll get the name of this secret signing that we're in talks with or have been in talks with, and so on and so forth. But get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think regarding that. Now, obviously, going back to Simon Stone's article, he mentions about like a bid for Ruben Neves, who I think would be a great signing. However, so this is coming out. So Man United submit €23 million formal offer for complete midfielder and make him Michael Carrick's first January sign-in. So Manchester United have made a formal offer to Al Hilal to sign Ruben Neves in the January transfer window, according to a report which has also revealed the stance of former Wolves midfielder about a potential Old Trafford move with playing under Carrick. I'm not going to go through that. However, this is coming from frickin' Fachahez. So Fachahez and now brought an update on the situation, reporting that Man United have made their first formal offer for Rúben Neves. If you're a subscriber or watched any previous videos, Fachahez, in my opinion, are the worst source of information out there. They are absolutely garbaggio. Even Team Talk, who are a rumour and a gossip outlet, have said Fachahez is a highly speculative source and any report from it has to be treated with extreme caution. So when you hear out there, rumours of reports from Spain, bid or formal bid made to Rúben Neves, I would file that straight in the BS bin, because it's probably that report coming from Fachahez, who are absolutely garbaggio, and I wouldn't trust them as far as I could personally throw them. When you've got outlets like Team Talk saying that you need to be wary of Fachahez, then you know what sort of media and news outlet they are. Sometimes they come up with good talking points, though, but they do get rebranded. And like I said, they'll just come up and they'll just say reports from Spain, but they won't actually name where they are, which is why I like to dig a little bit deeper when it comes to the transfer rumours and stuff. So as nice as it would be, or as good as it would be to be going in for Rúben Neves, we need to wait for a lot more credibility than when that particular story's coming from. And maybe we'll know, again, no more in the next few days. Well, we're going to know anyway in the next few days, because the transfer window is going to close, isn't it? And we'll know exactly where we stand on that there. But give us your shouts on that in the comments below, as I'm sure you're gunster. Right, now there's been another player that we have been linked with, because if we can't get a midfielder, can we look to strengthen in other areas? Obviously, there was reports last week about potentially United going for a winger, but has Patrick Dorgu now solved that problem? Because I think he was absolutely outstanding at the weekend for his work rate, his effort. He's chipping in now with goals and assists, which was one of the biggest criticisms about Dorgu, was his end product. And, he wasn't getting, he was getting in good areas, but his final touch or his final pass or his final shot or anything was needed improving. But he's doing that now. He's getting goals and he's getting assists as well. Is he the answer to our wing problem, or is it just someone we're using there as a stopgap? Would he be better as the left back? I don't know the answer to that. We'll know more, I think, over the next few weeks and months to see where he fits within the squad and within the role. But fair play to Dorgu for his performances recently as well. I think he's been excellent in the last few weeks as well, but specifically at the weekend, I thought he was really good. Can we not look at another area? So if we can't get a midfielder, and maybe we've now solved the wing situation with Dorgu, and obviously Ahmad back and Bumo back. We've got bodies that we could use there. Shea Lacey might get some time when now he's finished his suspension as well. Could we look at another area? And I think one of the other areas potentially would be centre back, because Harry Maguire, as well as he did at the weekend, is injury prone, is out of contract in the summer. There's still no confirmed talks, like rumours or anything, that we're looking to do any sort of new deal with Maguire. Can we look to maybe do a centre half? And there's been an interesting story coming out. It is from Italian news outlets, so we do need to take it with a pinch of salt, but really interesting profile. So Man United rival Tottenham for €30 million. Juventus leader as new Ineos manager. Target revealed. We'll go through the manager talk in a second. So Man United have joined the race for Juventus star Pierre Kalulu, according to a report, while we can reveal a new contender for the permanent manager job. Man United are yet to make any new signings this month, though they are now in talks with caretaker boss Michael Carrick about potential targets. Central midfield is a key area that needs bolstering, but United could also improve Carrick's defensive options. Man United are challenging Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa for the signing of Juventus centre-back Kalulu, as per Italian source Calcio Mercato. Again, I don't know credibility, but I'm very wary when it comes to Italian media personally, with everything that happened, in the past with Jadon Sancho and so on and so forth. Goes on in the report, though, to say the defender has become a crucial player for Juve, having made 27 appearances so far this season and chipped in with 1 goal and 4 assists. The report states Kalulu's excellent performances in recent weeks have attracted the attention of several teams, most notably those in England. And there's a worry that the Premier League are going to come in for him at £26 million, it says as well. As things stand, United, Spurs and Villa are the Premier League clubs most likely to bid for Kalulu. A January swoop is possible, but it does say that it's more likely going to be a summer deal. 25-year-old, looks a decent player, not one that I've watched a ton of. I don't watch a ton of Italian football, not watched a ton of Juventus recently as well. So get involved in the comments, share it around so we can all, get involved and have a chat regarding Kalulu. Good option, bad option. If you could bring a deal forward that you would do in the summer, I think United would still look to do that. I do think we need a centre back in the summer as well, especially with, obviously injury worries now about De Ligt. Like, I don't know where he's gone, disappeared off the face of the planet. And Maguire's contract situation as well. Would they be looking to bring in someone a little bit more experienced? Who knows? We'll keep an eye on that one though for you. But an interesting name, interesting profile. Does look pretty decent as well. So not one that I would be against going for, but I would want to see a little bit more credibility though on the flip side of that as well. But give us your shouts on that one in the comments below, as I am sure that you will. Now, it's also been a story. There's some reports last week regarding João Gomes. If you remember, there was some reports suggesting that Atletico Madrid could be coming in for him. There were rumours of around £40 million. The reports were as well that potentially Wolves would be more open to letting him go now as well. And there's been another report coming out from Court Offside, but I saw it in the Manchester Evening News, but it is from Court Offside, saying that Manchester United have been linked with an interest in Wolves midfielder João Gomes. With the club, I think that's meant to say, reportedly having tracked the midfielder since the summer. Court Offside claim that scouting reports for United are positive, hinting at a possible move. However, a January deal could be hard to do, with Wolves expected to put a high valuation on the player. United are not alone in their interest, with Napoli, Atletico Madrid and Crystal Palace all linked, although it is said that Liverpool's interest in the player has cooled. So there's been more reports coming from Court Offside. It is from a pinch of salt journalists, though, because they've got, different variations of journalists that write for Court Offside. This is one that I would maybe take with a pinch of salt and want to see a little bit more credibility. However, effectively what the report was saying is that Napoli might be looking for João Gomes as well. Obviously, the report the other day was Atletico Madrid. It was linking Liverpool, but apparently Liverpool are no longer interested, and United, have been scouting, and it is a player that we've had multiple links with over the last few months, as well as potentially an opportunity for January. So again, is that somebody that could be discussed in the transfer meeting that everyone's meant to be having? I would like to hope so, because I think that is an opportunity to get a player that could help us out now and would be a very good squad rotation option as well going forward. Like I personally like João Gomes as an option as well, but we'll wait and see if that's a name that comes out, and I'll bring you any updates if they come out, but give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below, as I'm sure you're going to. Now, mentioned in the report around manager talk, so we'll go through that. There's been reports around, so this is coming from Pete Hall, saying that Thomas Tuchel and Roberto De Zerbi are among the top contenders, with sources saying that senior figures want a manager who can bring bold and innovative ideas, work within a structure, and who, unlike Amram, has Premier League experience under his belt. Some see Tuchel as unattainable, given he has only been an England coach for just over a year, and has already turned down United once. Tuchel also has experience of working under directors of football in the club structure Ineos are determined to stick with, something that eventually became too much for Amram. And then on De Zerbi, again, Peter O'Rourke has said that Roberto De Zerbi is emerging as a leading candidate to take on the Manchester United job, and has previously discussed his position with the club's hierarchy. So basically, it's they're coming out saying that Tuchel and De Zerbi are two of the favourites, actually saying that De Zerbi might be the leading contender currently for the permanent head coach position, depending on obviously what happens and how we go and performances and everything like that between now and the end of this season. So that's an interesting one to keep an eye on, but we'll wait and see. Plenty of football between now and the summer, and you know, we are going to get linked with multiple coaches. But the one thing that is still clear, they do want somebody with Premier League experience. I think that's the one thing we can confirm or be sure of when it comes to the manager talk. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. See you in the next one.